Welcome to Stoichiometry Made Easy with me, SATRIO. In this video, we are going to learn what is stoichiometry and how to solve one-step stoichiometry problems. But before we begin, let's start with a question. Which of the following always contains the same number of atoms? A. 1 gram of atoms. B. 1 mole of atoms. C. 1 liter of atoms. The correct answer is B, 1 mole of atoms, which is equal to 600 billion trillion atoms. Remember that just like a dozen is, which is 12 things. A mole is simply a very large number of things, and because the mole refers to number of things.
When we do stoichiometry, so what in the world is stoichiometry? The word comes from two Greek roots, stoichion, which means element, and metron, which means measure. Basically, stoichiometry is a scientist's way of measuring elements and other chemical in a chemical reaction. Okay, now we are going to do the exact same thing with chemicals that we just did with food. Check out this reaction. Nitrogen reacts with hydrogen to produce NH3, which is called ammonia. This reaction is known as the Haber process, which is primarily used to make fertilizer. Fertilizer helps crops grow and becomes part of our food. In fact, more than half of the nitrogen in your body probably comes from this reaction. So, it's pretty important.
So, it's pretty important. As it's written, the reaction is not balanced. There are 2 nitrogens on the left and only 1 on the right. So we put a 2 in front of ammonia to balance the nitrogens. This gives up 6 hydrogens on the right side but only 2 on the left. So we put a 3 in front of hydrogen. Now the reaction is all balanced. Remember, our balanced reaction is our recipe. So what is actually telling us? The balanced chemical equation tells us that 1 nitrogen molecule reacts with 3 hydrogens. Chemical equation tells us that 1 nitrogen molecule reacts with 3 hydrogen molecules to make 2 ammonia molecule. Well, what if we have more? Let's say 10 nitrogen molecules. How many hydrogen molecule would they react with? That's right, 30. And the reaction would produce 20 ammonia molecules. The balanced chemical equation tells us that nitrogen, hydrogen, and ammonia are always in a 1 equal 3 equal 2 ratio no matter how big or small the reaction is.
1 equal 3 equal 2 ratio no matter how big or small the reaction is. So, let's talk about a large amount of nitrogen. The air you breathe in every minute when you are walking contains approximately 600 billion trillion nitrogen molecules, which is equal to 6 times 1023. Does that number look familiar? Yes, we are talking about 1 mole of nitrogen, and 1 mole of nitrogen will react with 3 mole of hydrogen to make 2 moles of ammonia. Where am I getting those numbers? They are the big numbers in front of the chemicals in the balance reaction. Let's try a sample problem. How many moles of nitrogen do you need to make 10 moles of ammonia? First, write down the quantity that you know, 10 moles of ammonia. Next, multiply that by the ratio of nitrogen, ammonia in the balance reaction. Since we are starting the problem with ammonia, we put 2NH3 on the bottom. This 2NH3 becomes directly from the balance reaction because we are solving for nitrogen. We put 1 and 2 on the top. The 1 and 2 also comes from the balance reaction. Remember, if no number is written in front of a chemical, that means the coefficient is 1. Last of all, do the fraction multiplication. 10 times half is equal to 5. As for the units, notice that the ammonia we started with cancel out with the ammonia on the bottom of the reaction fraction. And we are left with moles of nitrogen, which is exactly what we want. Let's try one more problem. How many moles of ammonia can you make from 0.37 moles of hydrogen? First, write down the quantity that you know, 0.37 moles of hydrogen. Next, write a fraction and put 3H2 on the bottom. The 3H2 comes from the balance reaction and the hydrogens cancel each other out. Then because we are solving for ammonia, put 2NH3 on the top. The 2NH3 also comes from the balance reaction. Finally, do the multiplication in your calculator. If your calculator can do fraction or doesn't have parentheses, simply multiply 0.37 times 2 and divide that number by 3. The answer round to 0.25 moles of ammonia, and that's it. Remember to always use quantities in moles when doing stoichiometry. And remember that the balance reaction is your conversion factor.
Okay, thanks for watching. If this video helped you at all, give me a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.